Hey everyone, we're back. It's Monday and we're your hosts. I'm Pia. I'm joined with Charissa and Lisa, and we want to talk to you about a few things today. We're going live on our channel here, which is Artisan's Palette. We're also going to save this and share it with I Am a Clean Eater. If you have not been to I Am a Clean Eater, which most of these videos are going to just transfer over there, so we would like for you to please go to I Am a Clean Eater, the Facebook page, and like that. And also go to www.iamacleaneater.com because most of this content is going to live on that site. The content we're talking about is part of what we're going to be talking about today, which we're really excited about this topic because we want to get your feedback as much as possible. But this content and all of our blogs are all on www.iamacleaneater.com. So we're here today, and one of the things that we get all the time is, well, just to put it bluntly, excuses. That's what we get. Okay, we get an excuse all up and down of why we can't do something, and I am guilty of it too. Okay, so right,
oh, absolutely.
We're here telling you right now we are guilty of this as well. So I've compiled a list that I want to share with my girlfriends here, and I want to share with you about the top 10 excuses of why we're not clean eating. So now we're clean eaters, all three of us, okay, but we are basing that on the 10 commandments for clean eating, which you'll be able to find on the website.
Yes, please.
So please go there, go to www.iamacleaneater.com, go to the 10 commandments for clean eating, and start to review those. So even though the three of us eat very differently, we are still all three of us clean eating. Now, when we weren't clean eating, we were like everybody else, that we were making excuses.
Yes.
So one excuse that we hear a lot, and these are in no particular order, so I'm just going to kind of rapid fire, say them out, and then we're going to talk about it.
All right, cool.
Okay. Excuse number one. The recipe has been in the family for years. So this is a big one to talk about right now because it's Christmas. We just finished another major holiday, which was Thanksgiving. People want to reuse and recycle these recipes from, which is great.
Oh yeah.
Okay, they're great because it's tradition. Right. But we can make them clean. So what do we do in this case? The recipe's been in the family for years, and I do not want to change one ingredient to the recipe.
Well, if it went way back, it probably was clean when it first was made.
Oh, absolutely.
So if it's one of those generational things that, you know, great grandma and that kind of thing, well, they probably were using real butter, and they probably were using things that are not processed. So it's probably a lot better if you find the origin of the recipe and then actually see when it got put into processed food and not real food.
Yes.
That's excellent. I never even really thought about going back in the history of it. That's beautiful because
if it truly
you're right. I mean, even if it goes back to great grandma, we're talking it could be 150-year-old recipe. And industrialization hadn't even taken place yet, so they were probably still churning their own butter. You want to keep it legit, you got to get out the butter churner. So there goes your excuse.
Well, first you were milking your cow in the backyard, and so you knew that was fine.
Go milk Sally, and then come churn your butter, and then keep grandma's recipe the same.
Yes. Okay, so if it's truly an heirloom recipe, then it's going to be clean.
Sure.
If it's not, then somewhere down the line, somebody changed it for convenience. Let's call it what it is. It's an excuse.
Oh, yeah.
You can update it.
Or and send it to us, and we can try to make it clean sometime.
Oh, yeah, we'll absolutely make it clean.
Yes.
And if there isn't something... I mean, if it's, say, it's like your grandmother's lasagna recipe. For some reason, I keep thinking lasagna. I don't know why. That's where I'm going with my head. There's a clean ricotta. There's a clean noodle. There's a clean marinara. There's a clean meat. And there's a clean onion. Like, you can have all of those things with the clean version. So it just takes maybe a little bit more research or a little bit more time. Or if you don't want to do the research, you don't want to do the time, you send it to us. We'll do the research. We'll do the time, and we'll give it back to you clean.
Exactly.
So that we can help combat any of those excuses.
Absolutely. Okay. Excuse number 2. I deserve a treat, when really it's a cheat. So we did a whole thing on this a few weeks ago. What's the difference between a treat and a cheat? So we're in the position all the time, you should never cheat yourself. Why would you want to do that? I mean, it doesn't even make any sense.
You're only hurting yourself.
Right. So it doesn't even make sense to do that. Yes, we all deserve a treat.
Oh,
if you know the difference between a treat and a cheat.
Of course.
So I had this conversation again with a customer, just my last customer of the day, just before I was closing. She's like, oh, for me to survive doing this, I need to have a cheat day. I have to have this cheat day. Like, it's so that we had this whole conversation of, well, really, clean eating is clean eating 365, and it's not about deprivation. So if you feel like you need a cheat day, then you're feeling deprived. Then it's not even in the world of clean eating. It doesn't.
You're only depriving yourself and cheating yourself.
Yes.
Because if you're doing a cheat day and you've spent a week or maybe even 5-6 days working so hard to clean up your body, you're throwing it away.
Right, but it goes back to somebody thinking that somehow if I'm clean eating, that means I'm depriving myself of something.
Sure.
And that's not what clean eating is about. It's not about depriving yourself out of anything.
No, absolutely not. And again, that maybe goes back to doing a little bit more research. Because if you did some research on I need a treat, well, we have, I can't even count on one hand on two hands how many treats, real treats, cakes, chocolates, ice cream sandwiches, just incredible chocolate, all these things that are
cookies.
that are treats. These are all treats, right?
Right.
And none of those would go against clean eating. None of them go against, and I think that's such a huge misconception that if you're clean, that means you can't have anything that satisfies that sweet tooth.
Exactly.
And that's just not accurate.
There's a misconception there.
That's just not accurate. Absolutely. You want to have a day that you treat yourself after having a week of taking really good care of your body. Awesome. Come and get one of our beautiful cookies, our candy, our our chocolate, whatever it is, and treat yourself and continue to provide your body with the necessary materials that it needs.
The other side of that is the treat can even be like, maybe you're mostly eating organic, you've given up industrial, you're still doing industrial and conventional food and trying to do mostly organic. Then maybe the treat becomes, oh, you know what? Once a month, I'm going to do the pasture. I'm going to treat myself
to a little higher quality.
Right, to a higher quality. Then it becomes, wow, wouldn't that be nice if somebody thought of that?
Really valuing
really
yourself.
Treating themselves, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, our third one, this is a big one. Kids should be able to enjoy whatever they want because they're just kids. How do we feel about that? That's a big one.
The hard thing there is that kids don't have any idea of what they want until we tell them what they want.
Right.
Okay, so, and I say that honestly because I have kids, and I can say that they didn't know what mac and cheese was until I gave them mac and cheese.
Right.
They didn't know what ice cream was until I gave them ice cream.
Right.
They didn't know that there were these other things. So we made that choice to go into that place, and now you can't say like, well, kids want this or kids want that. No, we did that. Right. So then if they don't know what they want and we understand those things, then maybe giving them the better version of what they actually need, that's what you're, don't they deserve that? Can't you go back and say the same argument? Like, they deserve to have the best versions of everything so that they can have the best lot in life. We have people, parents, moms, dads coming in here all the time with health issues, and the concern isn't, oh, well, my kid's ever going to get sick. If you have the genes that you're coming into a store like this with health conditions, you can bet 99.9% of the time that got passed on. And why make the second generation suffer like we had to? So do the thing, take it away, say, no, we're not going to have this ice cream. Instead, we're going to have this. My kids eat ice cream. They just eat really awesome, high-quality ice cream and not a lot of it because it's not cost-effective, so we just do a little bit at a time. They're not being deprived. They're not missing anything. But I also don't have that feeling that in 20 years from now, when my kids are trying to have children and they're having infertility issues, that I had anything to do with that. And that's,
that's the big
it's getting passed down, and we have to, it's not even about us. And maybe the excuse is like, stop telling yourself excuses because it's not even about you, it's about the next generation. And we have to lead by example, going again back to the 10 Commandments of what do I need to do so that I can teach my children the better ways. Kids should be able to enjoy their whole life.
Yes.
Not this 5 minutes at a birthday party.
Right.
In their whole lifespan, we want to make sure that they're going to enjoy it. Not just, oh, we're indulging because they need this, red dye cupcake with corn syrup in it. Like, no, they can wait an hour and a half for you to go home and make a fun cookie with your family.
Right. That doesn't have any of the egregious ingredients in it. This is the part that I still don't understand it. Is I was talking to a grandmother today, and she was with her grandkids, and she said, Pia, they wouldn't eat anything. Not one thing that I gave to them that was like real food. She said it was all the sugar, everything went from sugar to sugar to sugar. And so it's like, so how do we think that that's okay, that somehow the kids are going to perform better in school?
No, we're doing a disjustice, an injustice to those children. We're not providing the best framework.
Right.
Well, and sometimes it's just give it to them because they, start to cry or whatever it is. Oh, just give them the French fry, or just give them the candy, or just give them that. And so it's not doing them. It's just kind of relieving the parent from,
I think
parenting,
I think that the struggle there. I mean, I've also been through that. I think the struggle there is to just not have it. Mm-hmm. For my kids, it was some of the things that they wanted. I just stopped buying. Mm-hmm. And then it just wasn't in the house. And the fight wasn't, you're not giving this to me. It was, we don't even have it. Mm-hmm. So when you find that you build your fortress, like we say in the store all the time, build those things around yourself and your family that are going to be beneficial. Those are eventually going to be the things they go for. Yeah, it's going to be a growing pains. You're going to feel it, and everybody's going to get frustrated. But in the end, it's what it.
I think we see this too, where I think sometimes as adults we think, oh, the kids will grow out of it. So they'll grow out of, eating these poor foods, and then they'll make better choices. And it's like, well, what I say to that is, look at most restaurant menus. The stuff that's on not even the kids side of the menu. Right. So it's like, oh, we can order mac and cheese. How fun! These are 30-year-olds. Sorry, Teresa.
I don't care.
But it's like,
that's
not
great.
Just 20-year-olds. My point is,
they're still looking for comfort foods.
You're not really not growing out of it.
Right.
So then it's like, now it becomes a problem that you have to deal with in your 20s and 30s. And at that point, unfortunately, we're seeing more issues with autoimmune conditions,
diabetes,
type 2 diabetes,
blood pressure,
cholesterol, all of these issues
30.
At such a young age, because guess what? You really didn't grow out of it. Mm-hmm. So that's a big one. We're looking for advice here too. So if you're watching this or seeing this and you have some advice for us, write it down. Just give us some ideas of
what are your excuses?
What are your excuses, and maybe you can help us answer these questions. Okay, our fourth one. I've always done it this way.
Well, at this point, if it hasn't worked for you,
right? How far has that gotten you? Right? If you've always done it this way, then that's really saying I'm closed off. This is the way I've known to do it. I do all my shopping at this store. I get all this stuff here. This is my routine. I've always done it this way.
Yeah. Well, have you always bought the same size pants, or are the pant size going up? The more processed food, you notice the more processed food you have after a while, and then they go, oh, you're just gaining weight because you're getting older. No, that's not that doesn't happen, or it doesn't have to happen.
But there's the other excuse.
So, yes.
I'm just getting older, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gaining weight because I'm getting older. So, oh, well.
I always think with that excuse, I've always done it this way with people who do the shake companies and things that are like, I've been doing this for 4 years and I love it. And it's like, but then why are you looking for more help?
Right. Yes.
Like if you, you know what I mean? Like it's the same thing. Like I've always done this, but unfortunately that's not working.
And you still have all your health
anymore.
problems.
Right. That's not working for you.
Right. Exactly.
You know, and I think some of these things were more designed to be interventions rather than lifestyles, and because of that, we're seeing that the long-term effects of those diet type crash moments aren't sustainable.
Yeah.
So, and when we propose like a lifestyle change, like we have proposed with I Am a Clean Eater, you'll see lifetime change without, an evolution of that, and really learning.
Yeah. The next one I find very interesting because this, I think, gets to a bigger issue. So the excuse that people will say is, I didn't know I wasn't eating clean. Okay, and honestly, that was my excuse before I opened my store. I'm going on the 5th year for Artisan's Palette. I thought I was a clean eater, so I didn't know that I was not eating clean. So this is I think a bigger kind of issue where people are thinking, well, I do eat the salads and I do take supplements, and because what I've also learned, what we've learned in the store, is most people want to do the right thing. They actually do want to make better choices when it comes to food. They want to make better choices when it comes to their supplements. Just the issue is they don't know where to start.
And then there's so much misinformation.
And there's so much misinformation, which we've talked about before. But then they really don't know, well, why is this vinaigrette not clean? Right? And so it says vinaigrette, and it says I should be using that, so I chose all my lettuce and everything. So this goes back to, well, you have to be informed. You have to be more inquisitive. You have to ask questions. Go to the farmer's market.
Gotta read the labels.
Get to know stores like this in your community, complimentary type stores like this, so you can just be surrounded with more like-minded people, so you're aware of deceptive marketing and know when to say, no, that's the bad version, this is the good version.
Well, I think people are confusing the word clean with healthy.
Yes.
I think
That's
I'm eating
true.
healthy.
That's good.
It's not
Yeah.
necessarily clean. Healthy.
I
They're like,
think
oh,
it is.
I eat fruit, I eat fruits and vegetables. Okay, well, you think that's healthy, but how are those fruits and vegetables grown? Are
Yes.
they clean food?
Yeah, are you just eating broccoli and bananas, or are you eating,
Right.
all of the fruits
Right.
and vegetables?
Right.
So they think
Yeah.
they're eating healthy,
Yeah.
but it's like, no, it's like you have to take that to the next step, and your healthy food needs to be clean, healthy food.
Right.
Yes.
So,
Right. you're
Yes.
right.
What a
This is
great
all-
distinction.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Next, this is every day. This is every single day we get this excuse. My fill in the blank, husband, wife, partner, kids, whatever. We haven't heard the dog yet, but whatever that is, some human that's next to the person,
Yeah.
sister, whatever, won't do it. So because of that, then that's an excuse why they will not do it. Now, we do have, actually on both sides, we have men that come in the store that are eating clean,
Mhm.
and their wives will not do it,
Mhm.
and then we have wives that are eating clean and their husbands will not do it. And at some point I want to do a separate conversation where, because the percentage seems to be higher that men won't do it versus females, so the excuse is more on the female side that they're using it. So I would like to challenge here and basically say, well, I'm going to stick up for the men here. They're not stupid. Okay, so what is it that somehow they want to choose chemically laden food over non-chemically laden food? So is it presented that way? Or is it, again, misinformation, thinking you're going to give me all diet food, and diet food doesn't taste good, and look at how big I am, and I need lots of food to satiate me? So that like simple thing, that simple excuse, it will say husband won't do it, now turns into, well, is it really that? Did we have a conversation on that? Is there education involved here?
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of that? What's something you can say back to when somebody says that, well, so-and-so won't do it, boom, what do you say?
Well, it's also in a family where if the woman is cooking and the husband's eating what she prepares, then why aren't you just preparing it? It's like what they usually will eat what you put in front of them, right?
Yeah.
So if it's their favorite meal but you've made it clean, what's the difference?
Right.
You know,
Why would
do
you
they have a
say
taste for
no?
processed food and go, oh,
Right.
this isn't my processed pasta, I can't eat this.
Right.
So-
I want the option with the beaver anus.
Right.
Give
yeah.
me that one.
Yeah.
That's the better tasting
But if they
one.
don't know what's good, how will they know, if they don't know what's bad, then how will they know what's good? So if you take that meal that they have to have, where it's steak and potatoes or whatever it is, and make the clean version, I think that's worth a try.
I think it's amazing, and I think, and we mentioned this in our last episode. We talked about how there's a level of insecurity from that other person too. Like you're saying, there's misinformation.
Yes, there's misinformation.
And I think if you come at it from an angle of, I'm just here loving, supporting, wanting to feed you better, and make those meals, whether it be husband or wife, partner, spouse, whatever it is, and just make the meals with that inclination of, look at this beautiful meal I made for us, not you do everything wrong, I do everything right, and you're not doing this, so then you're wrong. And then there's something to do. There really isn't anything to do. Just make your meals and present it in a way that you're coming from a loving place. Because I think all of us, I mean, if your significant other came home and said all of a sudden, I'm not going to do the thing that we always do together, I'm going to do this thing separately from you, there's going to be a level of insecurity and defensiveness no matter what you do. So if you can come at it from a way of like, I've learned these new things, I want to share them with you, I want to grow together, then there doesn't have to be that, that hardship.
Right.
Well, also there's also 100% of, if one spouse golfs and the other one doesn't, it's, you do different things.
It's okay to do some things differently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's okay too. I do want to add in here too that in this, not saying that if you don't eat clean, somehow you're going to get some major disease and then pass away or whatever. But generally, there is a correlation with the more processed food that you ingest, the higher chance you're going to have some disease, some ailment. Now, with that said, I find it interesting that when people do have an ailment, they'll do anything, generally, anything that it takes to try to get better. Okay, whether that, depending on whether that's a chronic or something more life-threatening, all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, bring it on. We're clean. Give me anything clean, right? But then when we're feeling healthy, or the perception is that we're now healthy, but that they won't do anything to keep that. So we're backwards, right? So I'm just trying to understand, why would you do anything if something bad happened, but when you're feeling okay, you don't want to do anything? Speechless, right? We don't know how to answer. How do you answer?
It's just that the fact is, I think we forget when what we're doing, things that are actually creating the good feelings are the things that we're doing, and the things that we were doing before were actually what we're creating the bad. So I think when we look at it from a perspective of like, I'm in pain, so I'm going to go get out of pain, I'm thinking that whatever I'm doing is helping with the pain. I'm not thinking that it's like that the things I did before caused the pain.
Oh, I see.
So I think if we come at it like, the things you were doing before were what hurt you in the first place. Yeah. Going back to them is going to hurt you again. Right. I mean, and maybe if we can explain that between, when people come in, and even if that's what you're doing right now, like I'm healthy or I'm getting healthy by eating these clean things, really having the realization that the things you did caused the cellular deficiencies in the first place.
Yes.
And bringing in the good, created the good, clean cells, and if you take it back out again, you're going to go back to deficiency.
Yes.
So it's not like, do this and then do something for 1 second to get back good. No, like do this so you never have to go bad again.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, good point. All right, so our next one is, a lot of people have insecurities based on the perception of their peers. And that seems to be actually a really, I guess it says a lot about, I don't know if it's because they're insecure or they're not certain about what they're doing, but what's your take on that, Lisa?
Well, I'm vegetarian, I don't eat meat. And so when you first start it, you get, oh, you don't eat that. Oh, well, you don't eat meat. Oh, well, then you eat chicken. No, I don't eat chicken. Oh, well, then you eat fish, right? No, I don't eat fish. So then it's just nothing with a face. And so it's just over time, but you have to be persistent, and you just go, no, I don't eat that. Even when on Christmas they bring out this wonderful crown of pork and they say, aren't you going to have any? Look how beautiful it is. It's like, no, I don't eat that. So it just takes a lot of self-control, and then I started started bringing my own vegetarian dishes to share. And then I was like, oh, that's really good, because for Thanksgiving I brought clean purple yams, and they were very beautiful, and everyone loved them. And I said, see, this is vegetarian and it's clean. So
yeah,
it's just that lead by example, and the more you do it, and just it's been over time. I mean, vegetarian for I think 26 years now, so now it's easy for me to say now. I just go, no, I don't need that.
Right.
So, more for you. It's like I don't need it, so it's more for you.
That's good. It speaks to maybe how long it'll take. Not that it's going to take 26 years, but the more you're in it, the easier it's going to get.
Yeah, it is. That's
right. The more you do it. Yes.
Because I didn't want to offend. At first, I didn't want to offend the cook. It's like, no, I don't eat that. I know you took hours to make that, but I don't eat it. And then you do feel like, should I? And then it's just like, no, you just got to say, I don't eat that.
Right. Right. Yep. That's good. Did you want to add anything to that, Sharissa?
No, that's perfect.
Okay, perfect. Now, number 7 or 8. Number 8, I don't have time.
That's a big one.
That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I mean, it's like very common to hear it.
It's very common. I don't have time to eat clean. So you're saying basically you don't have time for yourself. You don't have time to think about yourself, where you're at. There's all this other stuff going on, but there's no time to really think about you and your family is number 1. So everything else is number 1 except for you and your family. So I think it's sad. That one I think is actually a sad excuse. And you know, I mean, it's time management here, so we can all say we don't have time. So I know we can say, you know, I'm so tired, I really don't want to. And it's not about eating clean either, it's about the lifestyle, right? So it's doing breathing or stretching or running or whatever type of movement you decide to do, and then saying, you know, yeah, I just really am tired, so that's my excuse, but I'm also going to say, well, it's late and I don't have time, you know, because that might be an excuse I'll use tonight. I don't know, because like I haven't exercised yet today. It's getting late. So it's like, well, am I going to make the time? I know I will, even if so it's probably 10 o'clock. I'm going to do something, even if it's 15 minutes, but I will do something between now and before I go to bed. So I think a lot of this one is time management and discipline.
Making it a priority.
Making you a priority. Yeah.
Well, you make a meal, whether it's clean or not. You take the time to make a meal because you have to eat. So if you're unzipping a box, then you didn't allot enough time to make a clean meal. So, or open a can when you could have, you know, bought something fresh at the store instead of opening a can. So it is, to me, it is a time management issue. You can make time for whatever you need to make time for.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, and meal prepping is a big part of this. If you're going to be doing meals, if we're talking about the meal side of it, then you can do meal prepping. And again, on our website, www.iamacleaneater.com, we have wonderful meal plans on there that you can go on and look at the meals, get them, prepare, get all the ingredients that you need, and make these wonderful meals. And make a double batch of them, get 2 or 3 of them, different recipes, and then have them for the week when you do your meal plans.
Yeah. So if you actually do that, you'll save time, and then you'll have time for other stuff.
Exactly. Yes.
Magic.
Yeah. Okay, second to last, we have 2 more. I don't have the money. That is a huge one, right? So the perception of clean eating is that it costs more than conventional or industrialized food. We did a whole video on this, which was our return on investment, the ROI, and seeing this as yourself, as you're the investment. So when do you see a return? Part of the reason I do clean eating personally is for longevity. So as I continue to get up there in age, I want to continue to invest in myself, so I'm going to see the return on my investment in my 60s, 70s, 80s, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, I plan on going to 110, so I have a plan, right? I have a strategy, a plan to get there. So the cost of that is, well, at 80, I don't want to be on medications, so I'm planning now to not have that happen when So that's all part of my strategic plan for the next 60 years. So that might seem like a long time from now, because people say, oh, Pia, you're crazy, because, you know, people don't even save money. So how are they going to, you know, what are they going to do for your whole living for this length of time? Well, there's some of us that do that and think that way, and we're here to encourage you and guide you and mentor you to say it's not that far away. It's not that much time in the big picture. So the don't have money part, please go and look at our video for return on investment, and we basically debunk that right out of the gate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, go to the website, the meal plans on the website. We actually have a family-friendly meal plan that it is actually incredibly cost-effective.
Yes.
And if you stuck to the meal plan and used some of the things as leftovers, make a few extra things, do the meal prep, you can actually have a very nice, clean meals for weeks at a time and spending very little money on that.
In fact, when we did those recipes for the meal plan, we costed them out. So whether you bought it conventional or organic, it was a wash. So you can buy all of those items organic in those meal plans and not have it cost any more money.
Yes.
So.
And then you guys also suggest to change a couple things at a time. So you're not throwing everything away and replacing it with everything new, so it's not going to be a big hit on your budget. It's a gradual thing. It's a journey. So it's one step at a time. The movement thing is free. You can walk outside and go around your block, take your dog, done.
Right.
And the cellular health, that's a whole different issue, but that, again, you don't have to go crazy and do everything at once.
Right.
So you don't have to get overwhelmed. You go at your pace. That's why it's a journey. It's individualized. That's why these great ladies help with that. So
thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
That was awesome. Okay, our last one. The last top excuse that we get. It's too hard.
But you have to say that with a whiny voice. It's too hard.
It's too hard. That's true. This one, actually, I don't even know how to start discussing it in a way that it's like, well, I'm trying to think, well, what's in there? What's the perception of what clean eating is, that the first thing out of the mouth would be, it's too hard. So
I mean, my immediate response to it's too hard is, yes, it's too hard and you're not ready. Because then you got to do if you could even spend 5 minutes doing the research, it's not too hard to do the research, right? If any of it is too hard, then it's all too hard.
mm-hmm.
Just go and do, like, what is clean eating? These women talk about this website all the time. Maybe I should go read some things.
Right.
Does that cost anything? Is that hard? No. Maybe it takes 5-10 minutes out of your spare time. And then maybe the next one is, it's too hard to, shop clean. Well, we give you recipe guides and we give you shopping lists and we have an online store. We're making it that easy for you. It's too hard to come up with recipes. We've already done it.
Right.
So when you're at that point where you're not even ready to start because it's too hard, then you're not ready.
Right.
But when you're ready, then do the one thing,
then
and the
everything
one thing,
opens.
and the one thing, and the one thing, and the one thing.
It's like how all the doors open when you're
100%.
ready.
Right.
But I'm wondering, what do you think the perception is of the person that's what do you think their I know you can't get into their minds, but
Sure.
what do you think their perception is of what is hard? Do you think they're thinking, I don't cook, so that's what's hard?
I think it's all of these. I think it's all of these. I think it's going back to every single thing that's on the list. It's too hard because people aren't going to like me if I eat clean. It's too hard because I don't have the money. It's too hard because I don't have the time. It's too hard because, it's all of those things. And I think that it's too hard is really a compilation of all of that, and we maybe need to, why is it too hard? 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 And break it down to its little parts.
Right.
Because it's too hard is too vague.
It is very vague.
Right.
Yes.
I think people think you have to jump into the deep end, and I have to throw away all my living as I know it, and I just cannot
is
change.
too hard.
Yeah, I
Right.
cannot
Like,
change
legitimate.
my life.
Yeah,
Yes.
we totally agree with that.
Yeah.
That would be too hard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's too much to know. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do it right now. I can't. So it's just.
And that's
break it
not
down.
what IamACleanEater.com is proposing that you do.
Not at all.
It's all about the journey. It's all about making the one change that you can make today and make it simple and get into a habit and then create another change and make that into a habit. So we understand that these are some excuses. There's probably a gazillion more. If you're thinking of more excuses, please write them in the comments box below, because we're learning, right? We're on our journey. We're learning. We want to understand what it is. So the more we know, the better informed we can be to help you and use our platform to help you.
Yeah, because we hope that it's not an ailment that brings you in the door. We hope that it's that you want to start so that you don't have to see that ailment surface itself, that you start to get yourself healthy now.
Yes. Healthy now
and
for
stay healthy,
for your kids now, and then their kids, and be able to enjoy that life, not get on some of these what we call gateway drugs, like the cholesterol drugs, the high blood pressure drugs, and all of these drugs that are just gateway drugs to further problems and further drugs. So we hope we've given you solutions, not excuses, on some steps, the next steps in which you can start now for clean eating. I mean, we're in the classic month of December, which is excuse city. I mean, it is just nonstop office parties, you know, all sorts of things of why somebody can't eat clean. December will come and go. I'll be clean eating all through December, and not one feeling of deprivation at all, because I'll have what I want when I want, just the clean version of it.
Because there's always desserts on a clean eating menu.
Yes, that's right.
There will always be desserts
on the clean eating menu.
So we're going to sign off, and until next time, we're your hosts. I'm Pia.
Charissa.
Lisa.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.